Album covers are funny things. They give us a first impression of an album, especially if we don't know the band or have heard anything on the album. They may become iconic pieces in that period of time. Think of Abbey Road. Think of Dark Side of the Moon. Think of Meatloaf and Bat Out of Hell. You know, you see those album covers and you can almost hear the music. But strangely, we know the covers. We generally have no idea who designed, who produced them. And that's why we're here today with David Frizell, who is a graphic artist. And David has a particular style. David, how did you come to do album covers?
Well, when I was a kid, my parents would take us to, the grocery store, or not, well, even the grocery stores had albums at that time, it was in the 70s, and, the vinyl records was, kind of a big deal because you could just flip through them, and see all these different art, and they're all trying to capture your eye. I remember, like 1977, and just
Of Boston and Journey.
And how those iconic covers that all these painted, beautiful covers.
So time goes by, you get some skill. How did you get hired for your first album?
Well, that was, years had passed. I'd wanted to do a variety of different things. In college, I went to college, but there for a time I was thinking I was doing more sculptural type stuff. I wanted to do work on movies. I wanted to do special effects for movies for a while. But, it's kind of hard to do that in Midwest, in the Midwest. Right? Kansas, southeast corner. Cherryville, Kansas, that's where I grew up. So anyways, I had, an art teacher that was really supportive of that, of anything she brought in, some really great music at times. And anyways, make a long story short, I go through college, I get a BFA in art, and I get a BST in commercial graphics. And then I've got some minors because I kind of strayed around a little bit. Wanted to get more into psychology things. Moved to Phoenix after a while, after working for a company that did photographs, and anyways, I moved to Phoenix, didn't have a job. I was going for Fox Animation, but they closed their doors like minutes before I showed up. It was crazy.
Oh.
I had this real nice contact. He didn't even know it was coming. So anyways, I get there, and there's no job for me. So I start doing anything I can. I'm tattooing. I'm going to Cooperstown, Alice Cooper's place, and he'd bring in bands, and they'd play, and I'd sit there and I'd draw, and I'd get to talk to them, and they'd present an idea, and I'd draw that up. Hey, what do you think of that? And I kind of got known as that guy that did that.
Yeah.
So, and I never charged anything. I was just doing it, But anyways, met the right people after a while, and I got hired to do, or the company I was working for got hired to do cover for Michael Graves from the Misfits. Punk Rock is Dead. So that's actually my official first cover.
David, what's your favorite album that you produced?
Oh boy, probably Avenged Sevenfold's "Hail to the King," and the Book of Nightmares for them. But yeah, this one was fun. This one was fun because I had to design the whole box,
Wow.
and then got all the stuff on the inside, That was really fun to do. And
Did you design the key as well?
I did
the
not
coin?
design the key, but I did do the coin.
Wow.
And then there's artwork on the interior of the album. Oh yeah, pogs or yeah.
Huh.
These things, coasters. That's the word.
Yeah.
That was really a fun deal. I love working on the special editions.
Yeah.
So yeah, this and then the definitely the Book of Nightmares, Avenged Sevenfold. Because I got to do several pieces of artwork that were all kind of related, as well as the lithograph.
So what inspired you to get into this kind of business?
Being a kid, I was just, that's how I just got introduced to all this great art, like Frank Frazetta's Motley Hatchet cover. I had the Death Dealer on it. Alice Cooper was a big deal when I was a kid. Welcome to My Nightmare. That cover was just iconic in my head. All that stuff. It just kind of.
Now, did you draw when you were a youngster?
Oh, yeah.
Is that how you started developing the skill?
I couldn't. My attention span was really short when I was a kid because I couldn't hear very well.
Mm-hmm.
I had some issues with my ears that needed to be dealt with. So I would draw when I was in kindergarten and to get the teacher's attention, basically. Oh. And then they took care of my ears, but after it just kept going because it was something that I always really wanted to do. When I was 5 years old, I decided I was going to be an artist. So there's that. Yeah.
Well, how many different bands have you done work for?
I'm not sure at this point. Some of the biggest bands, though, I've dealt with is Avenged Sevenfold, Shine Down, Disturbed, Seven Dust, Wednesday 13, Michael Graves from the Misfits. Who else? I really liked working with the Cold Blue Rebels. Those guys are fun. And, of course, there are local Paralandra. Those guys are great.
Do you get to hear a sample of the work before you do the cover?
A lot of times, yes, especially if they're trying to promote a certain song. Avenged Sevenfold, I heard the song and I had the lyrics to it. Mm-hmm. So they called me at 6 o'clock at night and they really wanted a cover for The Nightmare. It was just the one song. And so I did this at first, and they go, "Oh yeah, I did this in one night," because they needed it by 9 o'clock the next morning. And
oh, geez.
So I stayed up with the representative all night, and I did this. And they go, "Okay, it's on the desk by 9 in the morning, so we're done." And so I was like, "All right." So then I slept.
I bet.
For a week, and. By the end of the week, they changed their mind.
Oh, jeez.
And this is what they decided on. So this one.
Well, you gave them a direction.
Yeah, I definitely gave them a direction. So that's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't think that by having the face screaming would say Avenged Sevenfold. They didn't want to get away from the skull. Because, that's...
Do you keep a skull at home? Even a plastic one?
I have a ton of them. I have skeletons and skulls, and they were all over the place, particularly when I was working on these guys. I've sculpted them before, I've done like death bat sculptures, and that was kind of fun. But I actually used them for different references for their albums, because I did do a lot of work for those guys over the course of, was it 5-6 years? So... worked on three albums with them. Okay.
How long does the normal cover take? This came with some inspiration.
Yeah, that one came directly from Cassandra, who was the lead singer. So she gave me a very specific idea. So that worked out really well. Now I work pretty fast. I've been at this for a long time. I've been professional for 27 years. And that cover, actually, I finished within 20 hours, start to finish.
I thought you would be measuring in weeks.
No, I don't have weeks.
Wow.
Usually when I get started on something, if I'm in the zone, I can finish it quickly. This album cover was 18 hours.
Wow.
Literally, yeah. This one was a little different. This one was traditionally drawn first. So all the pen and ink work was done. Now that's going to take a lot longer. But I did it because I wanted to have a traditional comic book type of look to this one. Yeah. But then I colored it digitally. I think I have about 30 hours into this because of the traditional art.
Interesting.
Yep. So it varies. Sometimes I can finish something in a couple of days. by the time I started working on this, by the time I got my sketch okayed, I was already really in the zone to draw this thing, and I finished it within 4 hours. That
Wow.
one. And it's been on, I think I got T-shirts of this thing. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. There's one of them.
Well, it
Yeah.
brings up an interesting
Yeah.
point. Well, tell me, do you get, you get paid to produce the
I
album
do.
cover?
I do.
Do you also get royalties based on sales?
Well, it depends on the
Or-
contract. Most of the time, you don't.
Ah.
Just to be honest with you, particularly like, yeah, it depends on your contract, and some people
Yeah.
can get it and some people can't. It's-
Well, okay, what if they take your design
Mhm.
and produce T-shirts, coffee mugs?
Well, it's all in the
Posters.
Well, with
It's all
mine,
depends on the
it was-
contract.
It all depends on the contract. So if you want royalties off of that, good luck.
Well,
But it's gonna,
as long as you stay away from work from hire, you own the copyright.
Yeah, true. But, a lot of these were work for hire, particularly, Avenged Sevenfold, Warner Brothers owns that art. I
Oh.
can't produce something, I can't go out and go, I think I'm gonna do these limited edition prints or whatever. I think that would, yeah.
Yeah, that'd kill any future work.
Yeah, and I definitely want to be reliable
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yeah.
and respectful toward their properties. So,
Mm-hmm.
for all the work I've done, I'm truly appreciative of the bands that have trusted me through all these years. So, yeah, very, very thankful.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Because it helped everything. I mean, it wasn't just doing their album covers. I ended up working with different publishers because of it, or branching out to pretty much wherever I really wanted to go. So it just gave me credentials.